Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mount Rushmore. My name is Gerard Baker, and I want to tell you right now, Dosha Verigor. Welcome. I am the superintendent here at this beautiful place. Mount Rushmore, in these beautiful and sacred black hills, has many meanings to many peoples. I think for me, first and foremost, right now, because of what we're experiencing in our fight against terrorism, having our men and our women fighting for us, this represents our freedoms. The setting here can't be any better. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful evening. And we start looking at these four presidents and amongst the sacred black hills, we think of many things. We think of all the times that in our past histories of our peoples, we've had some pretty negative times. Negative times of removal, for example, moving people from these beautiful areas to reservations. A time period when, as we mentioned last night, back in those days, we couldn't do this as Indian people. We couldn't sing, we couldn't dance, we couldn't even pray sometimes and have ceremony because it was illegal. How far we've come. What I encourage people to do to get together is to never forget about the past. But also, we will still continue to have tremendous hope for the future so that we will never again have to do that. So that our children can play side by side, no matter what color they are, no matter what language they speak, and no matter what background they come from. That we can get away from the terms and the activities related to racism and prejudice. Just by living here in this free country, to me, we are on our way. But again, the reality is that we have a ways to go. It is places like this, and it is events like this, that can truly bring us close together as human beings. Because again, we are one people. We are equal. We are equal to walk on this earth. We are equal to be free, as we see it in America. So with those thoughts in mind, I encourage you to keep teaching your children about who you are. I don't care what color we are, ladies and gentlemen, we should never forget our cultures. I don't care if we're American Indian, American German, American Norwegian, African American, Hispanic, and so forth. Number one, we are human beings. Number two, we are American. And above all that, we are free. So ladies and gentlemen, to bring us closer together tonight and to share this reconciliation of cultures, I am extremely proud to introduce to you Brule and the American Indian Rock Opera.
You will find throughout the course of the evening a lot of representations of the circle. In our culture, and particularly to the Lakota people, the circle has great significance. Within the circle is contained the four colors of the four races of human beings. And in the center, we are all brought together. It's a very powerful symbol and very important. Now, this next dance is going to feature not only the circle, but the hoops. To help us out with this performance, a world champion dancer, a good friend of ours. We've watched her grow up before our eyes. And all these dancers here this evening, these are wonderful role models for our people and the best of the best. So we hope you enjoy this next spectacular performance of the hoop dance. I was one of the Native American children who was adopted at birth. And as fate would have it, I was raised by two very wonderful parents. I grew up as part of a small, white, middle-class farming community in southwest Minnesota. I have the best of memories as a young boy, but the one strange, unusual twist in my story is that I was never told of my true heritage. My parents, two wonderful people, I believe, in their overprotectiveness, kept that little bit of my past as a secret, as a protective device. Throughout the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and not until the 70s did it change that it was not very popular in those generations to have Native American descent or lineage in your family. Now, times have changed today. Many of us now look and seek out those roots, in some cases lost forever. I lost both of my adoptive parents in the year 1987. Very short period of time. And it was at that time that my wonderful wife, Kathy, discovered an envelope that had been hidden for years. In this envelope, a little information pertaining to the adoption that had taken place many years earlier. And as only she would know, she knew what to do, allowing me time for the grieving and the healing process. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving of 1993, I received a phone call out of the blue. On the other end of the line was a gentleman who introduced himself as my biological brother. His first words were, "Hey bro, you are Lakota." And we went on to exchange our life stories. And to say it was a life-changing moment would be an understatement of the greatest magnitude. But the words I remember the most at the close of our conversation was when he said, "Come on home. Come on home." And we did. We packed up all that we had back at that time, and I guess much like the days of old, we headed out west to the tiniest of the Sioux or Lakota reservations. And there we were received with open arms, with open hearts, and overnight, you might say, brought back into the community, the family, and the culture. I have never in my life been part of such an overwhelming reunion. I understand how lucky I've been. Now, over the course of time, I've spoken with many, many different adoptees, and I do realize that our story maybe was one of the exceptions in regards to such a joyous reunion. Whatever the case, I believe I was in the hands of the Creator. These two wonderful people that first brought me back are here this evening, and I'd like to have them stand up for just a moment. My brother and his wife, Fritz and Sherelle LaRush. Would you guys stand up for just a moment, please? There they are right there. Well, you see, I am truly a product of two worlds within one heart. You can understand I have a love for both families, both worlds, and both cultures. You might say within one human being, I coexist between two cultures. And I have strived, and it's been my desire to bring these two worlds a little closer, to share them with each other. Kind of in a childlike effort, I wanted to show off the two other worlds to each other. And I've continued to bring them a little closer together. I found myself at a strange thing called reconciliation of the cultures. A very difficult task, I believe, way beyond my abilities. But music, in a strange way, carries a very powerful message. I underestimated it for many years. The return home was a very inspirational experience. I can recall the first recording sessions. We're going to share with you a song at this time that was one of the first to come out of the reunion, the inspiration, and the change of life. It remains one of our true companions, and the song we'd like to share with you is called Buffalo Moon.
How's everybody doing tonight? It's a wonderful show, isn't it? I'm going to share a little bit of something with you. This next song we're going to do is called Vision Quest. In the Lakota language, it is called the Infectious ceremony, which means crying for a vision. And one of the most important virtues to the Lakota people is called humility. Without humility, there is no such thing as respect, no such thing as love or compassion. And so we must humble ourselves every single day. And when we stand on a hillside for 4 days and 4 nights without food or water, let me tell you a thing about humility. You come to understand it in a hurry. But you stand within a circle, maybe 4 foot in diameter, maybe a little less. And you ask the great mystery, what can I do with this beautiful gift of life to help all living things? So we dedicate this song to those that are on the hillside tonight and those that are about ready to do it. And Pilamia Wopila to all of you who have done it already. Aho, Hechiduelo, Midakuyasi.
Thank you very much, everyone. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for this wonderful 7-year journey, which culminated here at this beautiful place in America. Thanks for the support over the long haul. Thanks in believing from this little group of Native American performers who had a little dream here that began 7 years ago. It is overwhelming for me, and I'm sure my family. The journey has been long, but it's been the most wonderful adventure of a lifetime. People ask me, why do you always smile so much, Paul? Well, I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world, if not the luckiest man alive, to be able to travel with my family and carry a message of importance and carry a mission that stays in our music. Before we close tonight, one last word of thanks. I'm calling upon my brother Moses to say farewell, and God bless.
My grandfather once told me, he said, "Grandson, the world is filled with people, but there's only a handful of human beings. And at night when I look at the stars, I think of my elders, my ancestors." My grandfather said, "I hope that I conducted my life in such a manner that you yourself would choose to be a human being and encourage and make a stand for our unborn of all nationalities." I will never forget the day that my grandfather passed on or began a new journey. He told me, he said, "Grandson, we have no word for goodbye because life is forever." He said, "Don't worry, I'll see you again." So he says to me, he says, "Trakoja Dokshaake," which means I shall see you again. And from each and every one of us here in Brule, we say to you, Dokshaake, and many safe travels to wherever it is that you go. Aho, Hechitualo, Mitakwasi.
The journey back to Lower Brule has been one of unimaginable wealth. To this day, it has been impossible for me to totally capture the journey in simple words. But I will continue to pull upon this gift of music to carry the message and the hope that all of us someday can drop the barriers and drop the boundaries. My new Lakota family gave me the greatest gift of all, a very simple philosophy summed up in 2 very concise and succinct words. I'll share them with you tonight in hopes that you can remember them, carry them with you. Mitako Yasi. Mitako Yasi. Translated, it simply means we are all related. One heart and one mind and one body.
you. Carry a song of joy in your heart, and may we all be one. Thank you, and good night.
Brule Live at Mount Rushmore is available on DVD for $22.50 plus shipping and handling at brulerecords.com or by calling 800-368-6701.